Today we're going to learn how to create realistic light rays falling on the subject in Photoshop. If you have watched my previous tutorial, you would remember that we learned how to create background lights. We'll start from right there. So make sure you watch that first and then come back to this. So without any further ado, let's get started. So here we are back in action in Photoshop, and if you remember from our previous tutorial, here we have our background layer and our light layer and then subject layer again with the subject extracted so that the light doesn't go over the subject. If I switch that off, the light goes over the subject. How interesting is that? Now, before I say anything or do anything or teach anything, please make sure you watch that tutorial because we're going to start from right here. We're not going to start all over again, okay? So I'll link up the video in the description below. Make sure you watch that first. Now, all you have to do now is just turn off this layer. And that's not the end of it, okay? That's just the beginning of it, but it gets you much closer to the result. Now, select this group layer and then create a group of this group. Now, a group in which this group exists. Control Command G. Now, we have a group in which this group exists. Now, what is the advantage of this? We get to add an extra mask, right? What to do with the mask? Well, now we have the light falling on the subject. We should have the shadow, right? Now, what is the shadow? A shadow is a place where we have no light. And what is light? This is the light. If we erase this light in the shape of this subject, we will have what? A shadow. So we don't have to make the selection again. Why? Because we already have a selection here in the form of a mask. So press and hold Controller Command. Click on this. We have a selection. Now, all we have to do, we have to move the selection. Now to move the selection, all you have to do, select any selection tool. Any selection tool will do. Click and drag from inside of the selection and move the selection in the direction of the light. So the light is coming from here to here, right? So move in the direction of the selection just a little bit to the right. There we go. Just like that. Maybe. So it was here. We would move it here. There we go. Now this is looking good. Now all you have to do, you have to click on this mask button. Done. But this does just the opposite. We wanted the lights to be removed from here, not just be here, right? So all you have to do, very simple, Control or Command I. This inverts the selection. Now as you can see, what a beautiful shadow we have created, but we have also erased parts of light from his body. What to do? There are two things that you can do. You can press Control or Command, click on this again. This makes a selection of the subject again, and then come back to this mask and then fill it with white. How to fill it with white? Make sure the foreground color is white, then press Alt and Backspace. Fills it with white. Also, if you're using a Mac, it's Option Delete. Now, also what you could have done, you could have taken the brush, make sure the foreground color is white, and painted these areas. So that's one of the things you could have done. Let's fill it with white. So select this and let me fill it with white. Okay, now we might want to erase some areas from here. As you can see, the right side of the back should be dark because the light is coming from the left. So the right side of the back has to be dark. So select the brush, make sure the foreground color is black this time. Oops. Press X, make sure it's black. If it's some random color, press D to reset the swatches. Press X to toggle between the swatches. Now, take the brush, fill it with black. There you go. Okay, fill the right hand side of his body with black. Right hand side of his face with black. You can decrease the flow if you want to, maybe 20-ish. And add a shadow there. Okay, now that's more realistic. Oops, too much. There we go. Now that's better. Now once we have added a shadow, it's a very harsh shadow. It has to be a little soft, not too soft. Why? Because the subject is closer to the background. Subject is closer to the background surface. Now as any object goes closer to the surface, the shadow gets harder. The shadow gets sharper. So it has to be blurred, but a little bit. When you select the mask, go to the properties. If you cannot see the properties, go to Windows and then make sure properties is checked and then increase the feather from here. Just a little bit, zoom in quite a bit, okay? And increase the feather. As you can see, it's getting blurred, right? And now that's too much. Okay, now once you add that, you might see this kind of halo effect around the corners of his body. So then what to do? Select the brush, make sure the foreground color is black, then just start painting there. As simple as that. Start painting and you'll get rid of that. Okay, as simple as that. Have a look. It's looking much more better, much more realistic. And that's pretty much how to add rays of light falling onto the subject or any object. But here's a fundamental thing that you should remember, my friend. Whenever you add a light, don't forget to add a shadow, because lights and shadows go together. That's pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure to give us a like, and also don't forget to subscribe, and not just subscribe, ring the bell so that you, my friend, don't miss anything. I'll see you guys in my next one. Till then, stay tuned and make sure that you keep creating.